In episode 9 of House of the Dragon, we saw the Greens perform a coup, allegiances split, a dragon bursting through the floor, and some feet stuff? But what does it all mean? In this video, I will explain episode 9 and all of the Easter eggs that I saw. Spoiler warning if you have not seen it yet. The episode kicks off right after the death of Viserys, with the calm before the storm. An unnamed child wanders through the Red Keep to deliver the news to Alicent's handmaid, who we learn later is working for Miseria, the White Worm. Miseria has a network of spies throughout the Red Keep and King's Landing, who provide her with information that she can use as leverage to make deals or blackmail people. The use of children to spy and deliver covert messages is also used by Varys later in the main series, so Miseria's use of children in this manner acts as a precursor to Varys' little birds later in the timeline. If you were wondering why Talia was lighting the candles, it was because she was sending a message to Miseria and her spies outside of the Red Keep, signaling to them that the king is dead. This is kind of like how Sansa uses a candle to signal Brienne in the main series. Upon learning of the king's passing, Alicent seeks the counsel of her father, informing him of her mistaken interpretation of Viserys' last words. And it was the king's dying wish to place Aegon on the Iron Throne, which leads to a late-night small council meeting. Tywin Lannister, the Master of Ship, jokes that the reason they met so late is that Dorne might have invaded. We know that Dorne and the Triarchy have allied, so this isn't outside the realm of possibilities. But Otto tells the council that the king is dead and his final wish was for Aegon to ascend the throne. To Alicent's surprise, it is revealed that Otto, Tywin, and Jasper Wilde, the Master of Laws, have already conspired and made arrangements for Aegon to be king without her knowledge, causing Alicent to see her father as the scheming manipulator that he truly is. Lyman Beesbury, the Master of Coin, speaks up, stating Rhaenyra is the true heir, and naming it treason to go against Viserys' wishes. But despite his honourable intent, Lyman fails to read the room and is promptly killed by Criston Cole, who perceives his words as an insult against Alicent, to whom he is sworn. Lyman's death in the books is left a bit more ambiguous. In Fire and Blood, some claim that his throat was slit by Sir Criston Cole, or that he was thrown from the window, or that he was imprisoned and left to die in the black cells below King's Landing. Sir Criston's actions cause Harold Westerling to draw his sword. Clearly, there is massive division between supporters of Rhaenyra and Aegon. This division extends to other members of the King's Guard, with the twins Eric and Arik. Harold Westerling is ordered by Otto to travel to Dragonstone and murder Rhaenyra, Daemon, and their children, believing it to be the only course of action to prevent war, deeming that the sacrifice of the few is necessary for the survival of the many. But as a man of honor, Sir Harold refuses, removing his white cloak and pieces out. Presumably, he will escape to Dragonstone to support Rhaenyra. Alicent is also deeply opposed to this turn of events and her father's plan to have Rhaenyra taken out. She believes a peaceful resolution can be achieved, where Rhaenyra's life will be spared. After the meeting, Alicent and Otto search for Aegon independently. Basically, whoever finds Aegon first will be able to manipulate and control him to their desired outcome, either killing Rhaenyra or coming to peace terms. When searching for Aegon, we hear some prophetic ramblings from Helaena Targaryen, who has previously shown a few signs that she might experience dragon dreams, prophetic visions of the future. She has already predicted Aemond losing an eye to gain a dragon a few episodes ago, and last episode she said there is a beast beneath the boards, a phrase which she repeats again. This could be a reference to Meleys and Rhaenys bursting from below the dragon pit later in the episode, or it could potentially hint towards a separate book event that has not yet happened. Otto Hightower recruits the Cargill twins to bring Aegon to him, while Alicent recruits Criston Cole and Aemond, who seems to be cosplaying Daemon in that hood. In the meantime, Rhaenys is locked up in her chambers to ensure that she does not warn Rhaenyra of Viserys' death. And later in the episode, Alicent tries to persuade Rhaenys to her side, mostly to add Meleys, a formidable dragon, to their cause. As it stands, they are outnumbered in terms of dragon power, but with Meleys, the gap would be closed quite a bit. Alicent even states that Rhaenys should have been made queen over Viserys back in the Council of 101 AC at the start of the series. Alicent thinks that together they can guide those who rule towards a more peaceful resolution, but Rhaenys sees Alicent's true desire to sit the Iron Throne, even if Alicent does not. During their search, Aemond says Aegon took him to the Street of Silk, which is the area of King's Landing known for brothels, on his 13th birthday. Aegon told Aemond it was time to get it wet, to which Criston replies, every woman is an image of the mother, to be spoken of with reverence. In a weird way, Sir Criston still holds to his own warped sense of honor, believing on one hand that women should be respected, but on the other he calls Rhaenyra a spoiled sea. Back in the throne room, Otto forces the lords and ladies of King's Landing to declare for Aegon over Rhaenyra, but many assembled have previously sworn an oath to Rhaenyra. Breaking an oath in Westeros is a big deal, and will be seen as a mark against the honor of their name and house. Who would trust a man that breaks their vows? In the main series, Jaime Lannister was viewed as an oath breaker for killing Aerys Targaryen, and was looked down upon by almost everyone in Westeros because of his actions. Those who do not bend the knee are imprisoned and likely executed. Lord Caswell, who we have seen a couple of times throughout the series, has long supported Rhaenyra, and he reluctantly bends the knee while Larys Strong watches from a distance. His observant nature allows him to see through Caswell's oath to Aegon, which is why Caswell is caught so easily when he attempts to escape the city to warn Rhaenyra. We find out later that he has been executed, and his body has been put on display within the Red Keep, serving as a warning to the enemies of the Greens. The twins track Aegon through the city, eventually leading them to the depths of Flea Bottom, the poorest district in King's Landing, where they witness a horrific underground fighting pit where children are set against each other in brutal combat. It is here we get a grasp of the depravity of Aegon and his true character. Aegon is a monster who willingly watches these brutal pit fights, and we also learn that he has fathered a couple of bastard children. This is why Eric has become disillusioned with Aegon. He has witnessed Aegon's depravity for years, and is now faced with the reality that this monster will be installed as king, so he chooses to act by freeing Rhaenys and escaping to Dragonstone later in the episode. Unlike his brother, Eric remains loyal to Aegon and the Greens, putting him in direct opposition with his brother. Sir Criston and Aemond also continue to track Aegon, and Aemond reveals his true feelings about being a second son to Aegon. Aemond has studied history and philosophy, became a great warrior, and controls the greatest dragon alive, all attributes that he believes are required of a king. But while Aemond has been dutiful, his brother Aegon has preferred a life of indulgence and has no desire in ruling. This sibling rivalry is consistent with the other second sons we have seen throughout the story. Aemond, like Daemon, Otto, Vaemond, and Larys, are second sons, doomed to dwell in the shadow of their elder brother. Like the others, Aemond wants to break free from the expectations of being a second son. He might also be jealous that Aegon is wed to Helaena. Earlier in the series, Aemond said he would happily marry his sister if he were called upon, and some even theorized that Aemond and Helaena have a mutual attraction, and that Aegon's children might actually be Aemond's, and the brothers have made an arrangement to allow this to happen. This might be why last episode, when Jace danced with Helaena, Aegon's reaction was to immediately stare at Aemond, who seems to have taken an offense. Additionally, later in the episode, when facing Rhaenys and her dragon, Aemond protects Helaena while she grips his arm. But to be honest, this theory is a bit of a stretch, but let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Are Aemond and Helaena a thing, or do they simply have a protective sibling relationship? Otto and Larys share a scene where Larys implies that he would be open to an alliance, despite Larys having a specific interest in Alicent, but more on that later. Aemond and Sir Criston stumble upon Otto and Mysaria's meeting, which is a hell of a coincidence. Mysaria reveals that she knows Viserys has passed, knowledge that seems to surprise Otto. He had locked down the Red Keep and imprisoned the servants to prevent the news from getting out, so that he had more time to execute his coup. So Otto pays her off to maintain her silence. Mysaria also offers the location of Aegon. In exchange, she wants to end the abuse of children in King's Landing. We have seen them used for the fighting pits, and it is hinted that they are used in more depraved acts. Aegon is eventually found hiding within the Grand Sept. There is surely some significance of him hiding within a religious building, but whatever it symbolizes, it is lost on me. Comment below if you know what this signifies. The twins try to apprehend Aegon, but Eric's heart is not in it. Years of babying the prince have revealed his true nature, leading Eric to abandon Aegon, the Greens, and his own brother. Even as Eric asks for help against Criston Cole, Aemond catches Aegon, who promises to leave Westeros, which would allow Aemond to ascend the throne. It seems that Aemond would have gladly allowed this to happen had Criston Cole not been present to take Aegon to Alicent. Alicent confronts her father, now having the upper hand with Aegon secured. From the events of the day, she finally understands that she was merely a chess piece for Otto to use and sacrifice as he saw fit. But now that she holds Aegon, the balance of power has clearly shifted between the two. But Otto is still convinced that Rhaenyra will accept nothing short of the crown and that war is inevitable. Alicent plans Aegon's coronation at dawn, proclaiming that he will be given Aegon the Conqueror's crown and Blackfire, Aegon's Valyrian steel sword. Both the sword and the crown were seen as symbols of the monarchy and represented the right to rule in Westeros. So presenting them to Aegon is a way of conveying power and adds to the legitimacy of his rule. Next, we get the foot scene. I guess it is revealed that Larys trades information to get off on Alicent's feet. He informs her that Mysaria has a network of spies throughout the Red Keep and King's Landing, which, if left to thrive, might eventually undermine Aegon and her rule. So with the Queen's permission, Larys does what he does best and gets his lackeys to set fire to Mysaria's headquarters, presumably killing Mysaria in the process. But in Game of Thrones, unless we see a character's death, we cannot assume they are truly gone. So the White Worm might be slinking in the shadows, accumulating power to gain vengeance. Next up, Rhaenys is freed by Eric, and the pair escape through Maegor's secret tunnels. We have seen these tunnels a number of times throughout the series so far. These tunnels will play an important role in future episodes, so I am glad that they are subtly reminding us of their existence. During the escape, the pair are separated, and Rhaenys ends up with the rest of the crowd at the Dragon Pit, where Aegon's coronation is to take place. The Dragon Pit has been shown a number of times throughout the season, and is essentially a stable that holds dragons. During the coronation, it was a nice touch to have the golden Targaryen sigil in the background. In the books, Aegon took a golden dragon as his personal sigil in reference to his dragon Sunfire. We got a glimpse of Sunfire a few episodes ago, but I don't think we will get a real look at him until next season. Before the coronation, Aegon sulks with Alicent as they travel to the Dragon Pit. He never asked to be king and has only ever desired the love of his parents, which he feels he never gained. But after being crowned and hearing the cheers and adoration of the crowd, Aegon finally experiences his desire to be loved. This desire to be loved is a unique motivator for Aegon. Unlike others who desire the throne for political power or glory, he seeks it for a deep-seated urge to be loved, and as king, he can fulfill that desire. In the middle of the celebration, Rhaenys, now clad in full Targaryen armor, bursts through the floor with melees, seemingly killing countless small folk. Melees and Rhaenys face down Alicent, Aegon, and the rest of the Greens. For a moment, it seems that she considers torching them here and now, but ends up taking the moral high ground, choosing to spare them, symbolizing that she agrees with Alicent's belief that peace can be achieved instead of war, and the pair escape to Dragonstone to warn Rhaenyra. But what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below.